Hello friends. Now let us take up the concept number 2, 7.2, characteristics of an array. In the previous concept, I precisely explained the definition of an array. Array is a set of elements and all the elements must belong to same type. The third one, all the elements are stored in adjacent bytes of memory or as a block of memory, and they can be accessed randomly using the integer index. Only simply 4 points I explained. Now let us have a detailed view of the characteristics of an array. By that you can have a clear idea about the array. Thereafter we can proceed to the corresponding programs. The first one is array is a data structure. Already explained to you what is the difference between data type and data structure. Data type is the type of a variable. In that only single value of a type we can store. Data structure is also a data container which can hold a set of elements. So array is one of the data structures that we have to understand, and it contains logically related elements. In an array we store logically related elements like your mark list, the daily temperatures of 1 month, the ages of 60 students in a class. Like that, whatever elements we store and all that, those are logically related elements. Thereafter, all elements should belong to same type. Actually, whatever element you store, all should belong to same type. That means it may be integer type array, it may be float type array. Even if it is a reference type array also, all belong to same type. Now you see, if you see these two examples, now this is primitive type array. Already one point I focus. What is that? Even it contains primitive type elements, even it should not be treated as primitive type array. Always all arrays are reference type only, those are not primitive type. So this you have to understand, and all are belong to int type. Now let us come to reference type. Here also reference variables are, these are reference variables of which type? All the reference variables of string type. So in this all elements are int type, in this all elements are string type. Whatever may be the variables, these are primitive type variables, there are reference type variables, these are all belong to string class, these are all belong to uh, int type. So they all the elements should belong to same type. And even though the array is a set of elements, it is identified with a common name. Now you see here 5 elements are there, even one name, one common name, mark list. Here there are 5 members of the team, even one common name, team. There may be 12 members, even though a common name, team. Regardless of the number of elements in array, it is given one common name, common identifier. Okay, that point you must understand. And stored in contiguous memory locations. Actually, a chunk of memory is allocated on the heap. In that, all these elements are stored. That point you must understand. Now, if you take these, actually all these elements, one block of memory is allocated in the on the heap, and the 5 values, the marks of the students 5 are stored on the heap. Actually, if you remember one simple point, most of the confusions created in object oriented study can be avoided. What is that? On heap we cannot give names. Actually, this is created on heap. Heap you can store any value, but you cannot give name. Without giving a name, how can you access it? If I do not know your name, how can I call you? Suppose a kite is there. Kite is there. How can I handle kite? For handling kite, I want a string. In the same manner, you treat it like a kite. Kite in the sky. Then how can you handle it? For that, one thread is required. For that purpose, a reference variable is created. In C, it is called as pointer. It points to the real thing. Here, in Java, there are no pointers. Instead of that, you call them as references. References are nothing but pointers, but semi-pointer don't use pointers in Java. This is a reference, so it refers this. So this is created on stack. This is created on stack. That's why you are able to give name. Understand? Here, whatever reality is there, real thing is there, this is there on the heap, but you cannot give names. If you cannot give names and all that, how can you handle that? If I have to call you and all that, I must know your name. Understand? Here, for that purpose, a reference variable is created. Now it contains only primitive type values, even though it is a reference type. That you must understand. And this secret you have to understand. So here, all these are objects. These are the real things. But as these are objects, you want a reference variable. All these reference variables are stored in array. Stored in an array. But this is an array. Array is a reference type. That's why one more reference you have created. This is an object. For this reference we have created. For every object you have to create a reference because these are created on heap. We cannot give names. That's why reference variables created. We made it as a single set, single array. Then it is again an object. For that one reference variable we have created. This point you must remember. Of course, you may require some time to digest this concept. Okay, don't worry about that. Gradually your ideas are refined. Then one particular point of time you can understand that. It is like speaking human languages. Suppose a new language you cannot speak overnight. Gradually, if you interact with the people, one day you are capable enough, your mental blocks are cleared, and you start speaking up in the new language. Here also, certain concepts, prima facie, you may not understand. Don't worry about that. Gradually, if you develop a passion towards learning and all that, your ideas are refined, and then you can learn and master the concept. Then you can enjoy it. Okay. Thereafter, uh, indexing, actually, already I told you, we can access elements through index. That index may be, index value may be 0 or any positive value. It will never be a negative value because this is 0 based index. That's why 0 will come. So this element, see that numbers, these are the subscripts. Marks 0, marks 1, marks 2, marks 3, marks 4. Understand? So always remember that this is 0 based index. And one more secret I have to tell you. Actually, already you might have dealt with C arrays. How you are handling C arrays, syntax wise, same uh, syntax use, same expression used to access the individual elements, but internally the organization is different. That you have to understand. So if you understand this logical information, inside information, thereafter there is no worry in writing code. Writing code, whatever expressions you are writing, the same type of expressions you write for Java also. That's why you need not worry in coding. Okay, so always remember that we access any element randomly using its index, but that index value is either 0 or a positive value. It will never be a negative value, and it is a fixed size. Now you see, this is mark list 5. So at the time of declaration only we have to give the size, that is fixed. it cannot be reduced or increased subsequently. So, at the time of declaration itself, you must decide the size of the element. Then only, depending on the size and the type, the necessary amount of memory is allocated on heap. So, in this case, now 5 elements are there. How much memory is allocated? The simple common, simple arithmetics. 5 elements are there. What are the type? Int. What is the size of int data type? 4 bytes. So 5 into 4, 20 bytes are allocated on heap. Okay. So here what is the essential prerequisite? You must define the size at the time of declaration. Then only the required amount of memory is allocated for the array. Okay, that is fixed, and according to your requirement you cannot reduce or increase the size whatever you have given. And our array contains the an instance final field length. Actually, whenever an array is created, one instance field is automatically created, that we need not do anything. If you want to use, you can use it. It is very much useful. That is called length. Length, that means length of the array. Length of the array means number of not number of bytes, number of elements. So what is this? Marked list. It is a instance final variable. If you want to refer this and all that, then you can use the marked list dot length. You can use marked list. Then you can retrieve the size of that. In this case, the length is 5 because there are 5 elements. So this notation, this expression is very much useful for accessing elements. Subsequently, in the next concept I will explain. So you must remember that whenever an array is created, an instance field is automatically created in that is a final field. Why final field? Already I told you, the size of an array is fixed. We cannot increase or decrease. That's why once at the time of declaration we created the size of that, the value of this instance variable length is whatever size you have given. So you can retrieve it using this expression. Okay, it is a zero based index. Actually, this is very important point, and if you do not know, it leads to one common error, common syntactical error, and as well as runtime error also. What is that? All arrays either in C or Java a zero base index, and normally our classrooms, our page numbers, our quarters in a colony and all that started with 1. That is our index, but all computer index are zero base index. So here you see the subscript mark list 0, mark list 1, mark list 2, 3, 4. That you have to understand. So one array consists of n elements. What is the how you represent first element? First element with the subscript 0. Last element should be n minus 1. It should not be n. If you mention n means you are crossing the boundary. Suppose in this case, what is the maximum limit? Mark list 4. If you mention mark list 5, you are crossing the boundary. Then it will lead to one exception. One exception is thrown. Exception means you can understand it as runtime error. One runtime error. It is also a class. For that, one name is there. Array index out of bound exception is thrown. Of course, later we study this. Just I am giving a line of idea. So if you cross the boundary, it leads to a runtime exception, and that type of exception is thrown if you violate this principle. So always remember that it is zero base index. That's why first element is represented by 0, and the last element is represented by n minus 1, not n. If you use n, you are crossing the boundary of the array. It leads to array index out of bound exception. That point you remember. Thereafter, already I told you this is a reference type. Even though an array consists of primitive type elements like this and all that, you cannot treat it as a primitive object. It is a primitive element, primitive array like C array. It is always whether it may contain uh, primitive type elements or reference type elements. Always Java array is a reference type. It is not primitive type. All these points you must remember and then proceed. And one thing I am telling you, now whatever concepts so far we discussed and all that, these are like a blueprint. So all these points you keep in mind. Thereafter, once we go for programming and all that, you have to whatever conceptual understanding you have and all that, you get the assertion by application. Then only you can own it. Actually, now it is like I am explaining you how to drive car, what are the do's and don'ts and all that. Once you go for programming, it is like sitting in the driving seat and uh, learning how to drive. So that is important. Then all these conceptual understanding acts like a blueprint. It guides you a lot, and it enables you to own the concepts by application. So don't avoid the application and don't by heart these things. If you have the habit of by hearting and all that, just to drive it away. And you understand each and every point, and when we go for applications and apply all these concepts in applications, and then realize the concept and own it.